Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Business Besties Live. So excited to be here with my business bestie, Kara. Kara, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Mindy? So
Good,
glad.
good.
This is my
I'm
favorite time
excited.
of the week.
Sorry, say that again.
This is my favorite time of the week.
I know. Happy hump day, everyone. Excited to have this conversation today. We're going to talk about stop using ChatGPT like this. And it's a conversation that we need to have and that I often have. I mean, I have so many of these strategy conversations with my business bestie, Kara, which this is how Business Besties Live came to be. It just so happened we were on, quick phone calls to check up, and then we'd end up solving half the internet's business problems. And I was like, why don't we just hit record? Right? So listen, you are in the right place, my friend. If you do not have a business bestie yet, congratulations, you now have two. It is me and Kara. So let's get into the conversation today. We're going to talk about stop using ChatGPT like this. Kara, go ahead and get them started.
Friends, I see so many people using it as a crutch instead of an assistant. You have got to be the brain and you have got to be in control. Mindy and I laugh. We co-work a lot. So it's hard, y'all know, and I'm going off tangent for a second, but when you work from home and it's just you, a lot of times it's easier if you feel like you have that someone in a cubicle. So Mindy and I will get on and we'll co-work for hours at a time sometimes. And it always cracks me up because she'll bust out laughing and she's like, oh my gosh, can my chat please quit telling me you're right? That's so important, blah, blah, blah. And affirm. And she's like, can it just please stop? Like, friends, you are in control.
Yeah.
You are in control. ChatGPT exists to affirm you. It doesn't exist to give you great content. That comes from the way you use it. And so knowing that changed everything whenever I started using chat the right way.
Yeah. And really, you guys, in this technical world, it's called engineer prompting, right? Engineer prompting, prompt engineering. I said those two words backwards. It's called prompt engineering. And the way you speak to your ChatGPT and to the specificity that it needs to be, like, you do need to get very specific. And we're going to kind of dig and dial into this today on, rather than just saying, write me a post, right? Like we get it. I mean, we've all, I think, been there in one way, shape, or form, but that's certainly not strategy, right, Kara?
Yeah. No, that's complete survival. And it cracks me up because it's gotten to where, I can totally tell if somebody just copy and pasted from chat. I've been guilty of it.
You all can. I mean, come on, the M dashes give it away.
Yeah. The M dashes, even when you remove the M dashes, it's the fluff and the hype. And there's so many things that I'm like, all the short sentences. Yeah, short sentences are great. But listen, we don't really talk like that. Like if I'm having a conversation with Mindy, I'm not like, that's survival, not strategy. I'm never going to talk like that.
Honest or you know what I mean? Yeah. There's just some of those key takeaways that it makes it really, really obvious. And so we want to kind of identify again the wrong ways to use it, which I kind of think we just did all of that. And then really get into the right ways to use it, because it is a tool that has changed the game forever. And it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better, which is kind of scary in a way. But at the same time, you think about writing out what I just was writing out a 30 email sequences. And to have ChatGPT, I obviously gave it a lot of information and I prompt engineered the crap out of it in order for it to give me the right output. But how long? I wouldn't do it, Kara. If you said, Mindy, you need to write that email sequence for that onboarding, I wouldn't have. I'm like, Kara, no, I'm going to have to hire a copywriter. We don't have to do that anymore. But yeah. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So,
and I want to say this too, because I feel like that comes up. And again, Mindy and I always go off topic a little bit. And I think that's sometimes where the ahas come in.
Yeah.
But when you're building your brand and chat exists, your brand has to do something chat can't. And that is so important, because if everyone can just use ChatGPT to do whatever it is that you do as your brand, you have no long-term brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I help people launch courses and offers, like digital courses and offers. Well, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials out. There's a lot of questions people can ask in chat to get instructions. But what they can't get is that moment where they've recorded their first video and they're like, this isn't good enough. This isn't going to convert. This isn't what, and they have that person who can say, okay, that's good. I would change this, this, and this. And now let's retry, right? That real person to give real feedback and to encourage. So I want you to think right now, how are you using chat? And could chat completely replace you? Because if it could, we got some work to do.
Yeah, we've got some problems. And I'll say this too. There is an incongruency that happens when you try, like when you're creating content, and if it's not authentically, uniquely you, there's an incongruency and it's not going to land. My greatest posts, you guys, my posts that have went the most viral have been me just sitting there kind of like knocking out some thoughts. And I'll just say this too, from a content creative standpoint. If you are learning anything, you have got content to create. Stop relying on ChatGPT to like be your brain. That's not how God created us. He created us uniquely in his image to be unique in the marketplace. And it's your uniqueness that sets you apart. Okay, not blending in with everyone else and all of this. So when you're asking ChatGPT to think for you, when you are not refining the post that it creates for you and putting your uniqueness to it, when you're letting it decide your messaging in that, you guys, outsourcing your thinking and your uniqueness is weakening you. It is.
Yeah. Yep. And I would say one of the biggest tips, and we have a list of things we want to tell y'all, but one of the biggest things that changed the game for me is using the little microphone.
Oh yeah.
Like I would get to the point, I'm like, I don't want to type all this out. I'm just going to let chat think for me. And that's not ever the right answer. And so now the way I use chat is I drop transcripts in. I drop transcripts from coaching calls, from lives that we've done, from trainings, all the things that are my words, my brains.
Yes.
And then I say, can you help me pull the content and help me create the post from this? Or like this weekend, I had to write a really important letter. And I knew it needed to be like, I wanted to make sure it was respectful and all the things, but it needed to say some specific things. And so I just did a brain dump to chat and like, you know, all the things. And I'm like, can you bring this together for me in a very respectful way? Because I want people to hear my heart on this. Right. And then refine it.
Yeah.
You know, so using that chat feature is it really, you need your voice to be in chat or else everyone knows.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into talking about really using it. What I would say is the better way. I don't know that there's a right way, but it's certainly the better way. And to Kara's point, and you guys, this is something that, again, we've got a lot of plates spinning, right, Kara? We launched Unstuck and Unstoppable, which if you missed our 5-day free boot camp, it was incredible. You can actually buy the replays now. It's available on demand. Just drop the word Unstuck in the comments. We'll get you the link to it. But we built that. From there, we launched a mastermind. From there, we launched a retreat. Like this has all happened since January 1st.
And a YouTube channel.
Oh, and a YouTube channel. And Business Besties Live. Yeah. And, you know, and then I've got my other businesses I'm running, and so does Kara. It's just because we love it, right? So why not? But here's one of the biggest, listen, this is one of the biggest ways that I use ChatGPT, and this is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. So like, listen to this one. When you go to ChatGPT and you hit that little microphone button, okay, and you say, here's what I've got going on this week. I need to write the email sequence for Unstuck and Unstoppable. We need to edit the sales page for blah, 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 blah. I've got to get this done. I've got to get that done. I've got this sale happening in my, you know, my social selling business. This is the promo that's going on. I've got to create content for that. I will brain dump like a crazy lunatic on my ChatGPT and say, I need you to prioritize this for me. What questions do you have in order for you to complete this task?
Okay, wait. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Always ask it, what questions do you have for me to complete this or to make it better? Yeah. If you don't do that, chat is going to run with what it has. If you do that, it's going to ask further questions that's going to make you dig deeper, which is going to actually give you better output every time.
Yes. Yes. And so quite likely what it's going to say is, tell me, priority to chat means what? Nothing until it asks you some questions. And if you're, in business, typically a priority is there's a deadline, there's maybe a hard deadline. There's a monetization piece to this where it's like, okay, like are we like prioritizing, the monetary side of this thing? Is it the deadline? Is it a limited time offer? It's going to start asking more questions. And when you do that and you answer those questions, it will give you the most beautiful list. And you can even say, turn this into a checklist, right? And then you can copy and paste that checklist in your Google Keep. You can put it in your notes, wherever you want. You can print it out and just check it as you go. I'll tell you, that to me is like the most freeing thing for my brain as an entrepreneur, to utilize ChatGPT in that way when it comes to running my business. Kara, do you have anything more to add to that?
Well, one of the things that I see a lot is Mindy and I do a lot of coaching calls with entrepreneurs, and I never want people taking notes during our calls. So we use a note taker, and then we will send the link so that they have the transcript and a replay and all of that, because I want them to be fully present. That's when you're going to get the most. But the biggest tip I can give you is when you have a call like that and your coach says, here's the notes from our call, you take those notes into chat and say, I just got off of this coaching call and I want to implement, all of these things in the order that my coach told me to do them in, or, give it all the parameters and say, can you help me with a do this first, do this next, prioritized list, and ask me all the questions that you have.
Yes. Yep.
That will change the game for you.
100%. You can even tell it to turn it into a 30-day action plan for you, where it can kind of break it down for you into bite-sized pieces. I know, again, so many of you, you're taking so many trainings, you are in so many courses, and you're trying to like eat the elephant in one bite. And this is why you're stuck in overwhelm, right, Kara? They're just beyond, because it's brain overload. And we're not wired. I mean, just we're going through the book of Colossians in a Bible study right now, and Life on Purpose is the study. And it was talking about the amount of information that our brains receive on the daily, like minute by minute. We are not wired. Our brains have never had this much overload. And so to be able to dump that into ChatGPT and offload some of this is a really great way to build a business.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yep. So let's talk about the right ways to, I'm going to run through this list real quick because I want to just get this checklist out, because somebody's going to want to hear all of this. The wrong way to use chat. Right here, you do not ask it to think for you. You don't post whatever it creates without refining it. You don't let it decide your messaging, and you do not use it to make decisions.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to use it to determine where you go next, but it can help you with the priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So good.
So now let's talk about the right way. The right way, it will clarify your priorities, which we just talked about. Take that messy to-do list, paste it in, ask which tasks will move the revenue, separate your growth versus your maintenance. Let it take your chaos and turn it into structure. So instead of staring at a whole bunch of messy notes, copy and paste them and say, turn this into an action plan for me.
Yeah.
You can do that with coaching notes, launch notes, dump notes, or brain dumps, voice message transcripts, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're not asking it to build your business. You're asking it to organize your brain. And that's the game changer right there. Yeah. So good.
Yeah. The next one, we refine, we don't replace. So speed without clarity is what makes wrong faster. Right? So like if we just start posting things thinking like, okay, well, it gave me this whole list, and we post the wrong messaging for 30 days, we're not moving the needle at all.
Yeah.
But if we take the time to stop and refine those posts and use those posts in the right way, we can actually move the needle in our business quicker.
That's so good. And again, so many people are just quick chasing quick wins, just quick, and ChatGPT can make it very fast. But to your point, this is where the human element comes in, you guys. This is where discernment comes in, right? Deciding whether or not, like, let it give you some great ideas and marinate on that and ask it good questions and kind of dig a little deeper there. But just taking what it says and executing like a lunatic, again, if it's not aligned with who you are and you're missing alignment, which some of you, you know what, let me just say this. Some of you, it might take you to just, and maybe you already have, you're like, yeah, Mindy, I tried that and it totally sucked. And my algorithm just like dumped and it all went to heck in a handbasket. It's okay. You've learned a lesson now, right? You've learned a lesson. And that's what it's all about, learning lessons. But we're just trying to help you like curb that a little bit if we can.
Yep. So Mindy, what can AI not do for you?
What can it not do for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can't make me supper, although it can give me good recipes, but it can't go grocery shopping for me because I've tried this whole thing. I have. I wish it could. Well, I mean, honestly, it can't, it just can't replace me. It can't replace me and my uniqueness. It can refine it and reorganize it a bit. I mean, it can give me, again, some clarity around that, but it really starts with me and my messaging and it getting to understand, again, who uniquely God has created me to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell y'all just a quick list that we have of things it can't do. It cannot decide what you're called to build. That is between you and the Lord. It can't replace conviction. It can't take responsibility. And it definitely should never be the CEO of your business.
Yeah. Yep. I hope that this is blowing somebody's mind today. I hope that this is really helpful. And again, if you've been doing these things that like kind of like, again, right way, wrong way, maybe not a preferred way, like I just give yourself some grace and just know this. When you know better, you do better. And so after listening to this, you're going to now approach ChatGPT in a whole different way, I hope. So anyways, here's your homework. Let's give him some homework today, shall we?
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
Open your messy notes or like take your brain. I want you to dump it into ChatGPT. And again, you can either copy and paste it or there's that little microphone button and you just talk to it and you say, like I said before, okay, here's all of what I've got going on, blah, 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 and just rattle it off. And then ask it for a prioritized 7-day task list, a 7-day task list. And say, but before you complete that task, what questions do you have for me?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. And then I want you to execute. At that point, you quit overthinking and you do what it says. Yeah. If that list makes sense and it takes care of all of those things that were in your brain and it's going to move the needle in your business, then at that point you quit overthinking and you take action. And that brings me to something I want to talk about for just a second. So Mindy and I, we did Unstuck and Unstoppable, which was the 5-day boot camp. If you missed it, $97. It's going to change your business. It's going to change the game. It's going to change your life in a lot of ways because you're going to realize, oh crud, I had never thought about that when it comes to my business.
Yes.
And we watched it every single day do that. But I want to tell you what happened. At the end of Unstuck and Unstoppable, Mindy and I launched a mastermind. So we launched a small group of Christian entrepreneurs who are building online businesses and wanted not more information. They wanted accountability and execution. Yeah. So we launched a mastermind that contained no portal except for weekly replays. And the only thing we exist to do is to help each of those business owners determine what is the next best step for the next 7 days of your life, business-wise. Mm-hmm. And then the next week, what's the next best step? And if you need some type of training or anything like that, we can point you the right direction. Mm-hmm. But the problem is people are over-consuming and not executing. Yes. Over-consuming does not move the needle in your business. It overwhelms you and it leads to overthinking, which leads to I can't say that.
Analysis paralysis. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And this is why too, after, what did you say? 32, how many coaching calls have we done?
3,800.
3,800 coaching calls later. We really came to this understanding And again, we've talked about this over the last 2 years of our life. Can you believe it's been 2 years since we've known each other? God is so good. Anyways, that it's not more information that you all need. It's execution of what you already know. And that's what called to activate. That's the reason why we named it that, called to activate. That's what it's there for. And I love it because Kara brings the tech and the stuff that so many people get stuck on, right? It's the tech execution and the whatever, or sometimes they're stuck in messaging and in their marketing and their content creation. You don't get stuck because we've got it from both sides. We hit it on both sides, which is so freaking cool. So again, Unstuck and Unstoppable is the place to start. Drop Unstuck in the comments if you guys want to run through that program. That's the prerequisite to get into Call to Activate.
Yeah.
We're excited to be able to offer that to you and help you move forward in your business. But I will end it with this, you guys. Use ChatGPT to create clarity, not dependency. It is an assistant. It is not your brain. And I hope that this is helpful. So, all right. Anything else, Kara?
I don't think so.
Good. All right, besties. We will see you back here, same time, same place next week. Until then, take care.